Welcome to another YouTube video, and today I'm going to be talking about a hot topic at this time of year: how you can actually eat out this summer. Okay, how you can go out for a meal whilst you're trying to lose body fat, whilst you're trying to prioritize your health and fitness journey, and it doesn't have to all go to pot, and you don't even need to track it. Now, in certain situations, depending on how urgent your goal is, the timeline, we do have options to track the food that we eat out, and there's so many easy ways that we can do it, especially with AI these days. We can pre-log and look at the menu in advance, and there is elements of this where we can be more structured and a little bit more pre-planning. But for a lot of you, you're going for ad hoc meals out, and depending on the frequency that you're going out, you just want to be able to follow something super simple that gives you peace of mind, that you don't have to obsess and track the meal, and you can just enjoy it, but eat in line with, your demands for your goal. And you can follow this framework. It is super flipping simple. So hopefully you can take a lot from this. And I know that if you've got a meal out, it doesn't matter whether it's Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, any single day of the week, literally follow this step by step, you're on to a winner. So let's get straight stuck in. This is your action plan. And the first thing that we want to do is hydrate and move. Okay, if we're going for a meal out, generally speaking, we just want to be more active that day. More so mentally, it just helps you to feel like it keeps you goal conscious, and it helps you to feel better about going out, which, for a lot of you that have got a damaged relationship with yourself, with your food, with your weight loss journey, that is significantly important. So the first thing we want to do is just wake up. We want to hydrate and we want to move, especially over summer. We've got lighter mornings. Getting up and just getting 30 to 60 minutes in of movement in can be incredibly valuable. This could be a walk, this could be one of your workouts, but just starting your day with intent, right? You're going to go and enjoy a nice meal out. So get up 30 minutes earlier, go do your workout, okay? Or get outside and go for a 45-minute, 60-minute walk. Okay, wake up, drink a big glass of water, and get yourself moving. And then you can start the day in a good headspace. Your morning's won, and you're just ready to have a fantastic, productive day ahead of enjoying your meal out. Second thing I want you to do is have a high protein breakfast. This is no surprise, but with the meals that we're going to eat on the day of, our meal out, we just want to be a little bit conscious that if you're going out to enjoy a meal, it's going to be more calorific. You're going to enjoy foods that you might not normally have. So in knowing that, all I need you to do is just be a bit more conscious that you're going out for that meal. So we want to be as calorie efficient as we can. This essentially means that you want to fill yourself up as much as possible. I don't want you to starve yourself all day. I want you to actually feel full, so you have the energy to, be a parent, to go to work and all these things. You don't need to fast or miss all your meals, but you want to be as calorie efficient as you can. This means that we want to basically eat as much food as possible whilst making a big effort to cut your calories back. Okay, so there is a bit of a buffer for when we enjoy ourselves in the evening. So a high protein breakfast example could be a 3 to 4 egg vegetable omelette. Okay, that's literally going to be 250 to 300 calories. It's going to be like 18 to 24 grams of protein, veggies. You can even add ham and things like that to bulk it up a little bit more, but it's just going to be really filling, but relatively low in calorie. Okay, so we want to have as much protein as possible. Things like chicken sausages are great. Obviously, eggs are a really good source. Protein powder, fat-free Greek yogurt. But the idea here is filling yourself up as much as possible. So in my opinion, one of the best things that we can do is eggs. Okay, so an omelette, it could be scrambled egg with some chicken sausages, and just try and volumize it as much as you can. So if you are having eggs and chicken sausages, normally you might have bread, a slice of toast, a bagel. Ditch that, and instead, can we have spinach, some tomatoes, some mushrooms? So we've got a bit of veg on that plate as well. Okay, so it's eggs, it's a couple of chicken sausages, it's vegetables, and then even having a piece of fruit with that meal. Okay, whether it be an apple, a kiwi, a pear, some berries. Just again, more volume. That's good, nutritious food that's going to support your fat loss goal, but it's also going to be low calorie, high volume, low calorie. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Have that high protein breakfast. Something like I've just said is useful. And then that'll keep you ticking over. Then when it comes to lunch, I don't want you to skip lunch like some people do when they've got a meal out, which is fucking crazy, because that's just going to lead to binging and just feeling absolutely rubbish. And trust me, I've been there before. So your high protein lunch, again, I want you to think protein, and I want you to think crazy volume. Okay, so this is where, for me, a massive like lean protein source and a massive salad is the best thing that you can do. Because if you were to have, a chicken breast, which is 150 grams of chicken, you're getting 30 to 35 grams of protein in. But then also with the big volume of salad that you're going to have, which is, lettuce leaves, cucumber, tomato, pepper, beetroot, sweet corn, grated carrot, it's next to no calories. So you're literally looking at a couple hundred calories for your lunch, but you're getting 30 to 35 grams of protein in. You're eating a massive bowl in food volume because of the salad. And then again, having a piece of fruit with it, like a pear, like a clementine, like an apple, something like that, like some berries, like some watermelon, again, just adding more volume, but again, very little calories. And, even having something like, like a Pepsi Max with that, or, Aldi, they all do their versions of, kind of diet pop, which is a great way of just a nice sweet treat, curbing your appetite, and again, just filling you up. So that's how simple it can be. You've drank a lot of water, you've had a big glass of water when you've woken up, you've either got a gym session in or got a big walk in, you've had a really filling breakfast and lunch, but you've not eaten many calories. And then the one thing that you need to do, right? Let's say you're going out for a meal at, between 6 and 8 o'clock. That's a long gap, okay? 6 to 8 hours of not eating, especially when you've cut your calories back a little bit in the day. So what we want to do is to bridge the gap between that. And again, it depends how much you can delay that. But if we can, about 2 hours before that meal, if we can have a protein shake and an apple, this is gonna, again, not many calories, but super filling, okay? A protein shake is a convenient, calorie efficient way of getting, a lot of protein in, and then pairing it with like an apple, which is really high in fiber, that's gonna help to fill you up sufficiently. So again, we're looking at 150 to 200 calories, but we're still eating, we're not restricting ourselves and like completely starving, which again leads to binging and a poor relationship with food. We're just, again, prioritizing protein, prioritizing fiber. That's all we've really done with all these meals. We're still eating, but we're eating a good amount of food. Yeah, we're reducing our calories significantly. We're not eating as many carbs as we normally do. So we might not have as much energy. We might feel a little bit hungry, but we're doing it in a way that we're not like starving ourselves. And what we're doing is, it means that when we go into that meal, we've got loads of protein in during the day. We've hydrated, we've got movement, we've got loads of fiber from the fruit, from the vegetables, and then we're actually going into that meal ready to enjoy a nice meal, knowing that we've put our best foot forward, we've prioritized our goal at the start of the day, so then you can enjoy that moment. And again, this is where, depending on what the moment is it just like a random meetup with a friend, or is it like an anniversary meal? Is it something like more, more kind of, what's the word, more important to you, and more of a special occasion, then, learning how to pick and choose your moments is important. But let's just say in this instance that meal out is just, it's a date night with your partner, or it's a meal with friends, right? And you just want to enjoy the meal. You don't want to track it. You don't want to stress. Yeah, you want to lose weight. You want to feel great and all of that stuff. But, you just want to enjoy yourself. Well, here's what you want to do. You want to follow principle-based nutrition. And I've talked about this quite a lot recently because it's such a useful, simple thing that you can use this time of year. So I want you to go for that meal out, and I just want you to look at the menu and choose the most protein dominant option. Okay, so wherever you are, no matter what restaurant you go to, there is always going to be a higher protein option. That could be steak, that could be, grilled meat. Like I had the other day, it was chicken skewers with chorizo that was like over some, salad and chips. It could be fish. There are so many options, okay? But that's what we want to look for, more of a protein dominant meal, okay? So you'd choose like a grilled chicken kebab over, a pizza, for example, which is very high in carbs and fat from the cheese. So you want to try and again, not every single time you go to a menu, it's going to be amazing, but there normally is 9 times out of 10 a high protein option. So you want to choose that option, okay? You want to make sure that it's got vegetables on. If not, you can always add, a side and more. So let's say you're going for a meal with your friends and you think, I'm going to have a sirloin steak. Brilliant. It's got chips. It comes with, greens, so broccoli and stuff like that. Fantastic. It's nutritious, but it's tasty. Then what you can do is, and this is really important, okay? This is important to extract the benefits from the meal, but to also fill you up more and to eat in line with the calorie deficit, which you need to lose weight. So what you want to do is eat the protein first. So you'd eat the steak because that's going to fill you up the quickest because it's really high in protein. So again, nice tasty steak's going to really fill you up. Then we're going to move on to the vegetables. Okay, eat the vegetables next, really high in fiber. Again, it's going to help to fill you up quicker. So then by the time you get to the chips, you're actually pretty full because you've eaten loads of protein, loads of vegetables. I still want you to eat the chips because you want to enjoy the meal, but I just want you to leave a little portion behind on the plate. Okay, and it's going to be easier to do that because you're actually fuller. Like I've done it before where I've gone for like a chicken kebab and it came with you know, like wraps and chips, and I ate the food in a specific order, and honestly by the end I was like, I don't even need these wraps. Like I'm actually quite full. So, and again, I don't need to not eat the chips, but just leaving a small portion behind on the plate. That way you've been out, you've had a nice meal, maybe you've had a few drinks as well if it's a special occasion, maybe you've just stuck to a Diet Coke or water or whatever. But it's just a way that you can enjoy that meal, have a bit of alcohol, relax with your friends, and all is good. You haven't had to track it. You've hydrated well throughout the day. You know, you've got a gym session in, or you've got plenty of steps in. You know, you've been really good with your nutrition. You've gone out and had a nice meal, and then you just get back to it the next day. You just draw a line under the sand. You wake up and it starts again. You know, you get back to your food plan. You get back to your training program. You get back to your weight loss journey, and you think, wow, like I've had a great time. I've enjoyed myself. And the one thing that I'd do as well, I wouldn't weigh yourself the next day. You can do, but for most of you, it's just going to be a trigger if it did increase. I'd literally not weigh the morning after, just get straight back on with everything. And then the day after, then start weighing again. And it just means that if for whatever reason, you know, because it was a late meal, there was more carbs than you usually have, and it spiked the scale, it doesn't get in your head and you wake up, you feel bloated, the scale's heavy, and then you just think, oh, what was the point and all that? And then you sabotage. So that's one thing I would recommend as well. But you just get back to it, and it's simple as that. How easy is that? You've not had to track it. You've not had to starve yourself all day. You're just making smarter decisions. And that's how you can show up for your goal whilst enjoying yourself. That's how you can go out for a meal, still lose body fat, and not have to fucking track everything. So look, I hope that was helpful. Any questions, as always, fire away, and I'll see you in the next one.